Women's Ashes. England's preparations less than ideal, but don't expect them to fold like their Mao. While England's men are playing out the denouement of their thoroughly disappointing Ashes trip, the women are in Canberra, 500 miles to the north, getting ready for their own battle with Australia. And just like the men, preparations have been less than ideal. The series was brought forward by a week to allow for England and Australia's players to complete a mandatory 10-day quarantine period in New Zealand immediately afterwards before the World Cup starts in early March, shaving a week off England's preparation. Although England haven't won the Ashes since 2014, the last time it was played on Australian soil, in 2017-18, it was a drawn series at the end of an intense and hard-fought affair. This one, which begins on Thursday in Adelaide, promises similar. These are two well-balanced squads, packed with Ashes experience. The series will use the multi-format point system and begins with 3 T20s in Adelaide, worth 2 points each, followed by a one-off 4-day test in Canberra worth 4 points. It then culminates with 3 one-day internationals worth 2 points each. The winner of the series is the first to 9 points. Anya Shrubsole is no stranger to Australian conditions, having played 20 international matches across all formats there and, along with Catherine Brunt, will lead England's seam bowling attack. Despite the sacrifices the players have had to make and will continue to make to ensure the series goes ahead during a period of high COVID transmission rates in Australia, she is relishing the chance to try and win back the Ashes trophy for the first time in almost 8 years. "We are chuffed to be out here. It has been a monumental effort to get everyone out here on the plane and having to live safely over Christmas and New Year, and sacrifices have had to be made by a lot of people," Shrubsole said. "It's what you have to do to be involved in an Ashes series, but I also don't think it should be underestimated what people have had to do back home to get this series going ahead." The ECB Safer Living Guidelines meant that players and support staff had to forego seeing people outside their immediate family over Christmas and New Year and were not even allowed to train together. "The main thing is that a week has been knocked off our preparations, and that is never ideal, and because of safe living back in the UK, it affected our training there." Sophia Dunkley had her mum feeding the bowling machine for her. Sarah Glenn was bowling at her dad. It's not an excuse, but there is no hiding behind the fact that potentially preparation hasn't been ideal. "But we've got a really good group of players out here, but in these times, things are often less than ideal, and we have to take it on the chin and crack on. This is a huge 3 months for England, an Ashes series that they have a genuine chance of winning immediately, followed by the defense of their 50-over World Cup title in New Zealand. It's not often you get 2 such huge tours back-to-back, and it's something we have prepared for, and if you add in the Commonwealth Games in the summer, it is a huge year for women's cricket," Shrubsole said. As well as the more familiar names in Heather Knight's 17-person strong squad, there are some new ones that catapulted themselves into the minds of the selectors through their performances in domestic cricket and most notably in the inaugural edition of the 100. The all-rounder Sophia Dunkley, 23, became the first black woman to play Test cricket for England and is one to watch when the Test comes around on the 27th after a stunning Test debut with the bat against India in the summer. The off-spinner Charlie Dean, 21, is in line for an Ashes debut in the T20 series, having made her international debut in September against New Zealand, finishing as the joint leading wicket-taker in the 5-match series. Australia named their squad last week and are at almost full strength with Rachel Haynes, the vice-captain, returning after a period of injury. The absence of all-rounder Georgie Wareham has given an opportunity to Alana King. Star names Elise Perry, Meg Lanning and Beth Mooney will operate alongside exciting new names like Darcy Brown, a young pacey outswing bowler. After a miserable couple of months of overnight viewing for England fans, this series should be a much closer affair. With so much experience of Australian conditions both in Ashes series and in the Women's Big Bash League, England will be able to adapt quickly despite their hampered preparation. Women's cricket continues to develop at pace, and this should be a high-quality, skillful and intensely fought contest to tee off a huge year for women's game. Women's Ashes January 20th, T20 January 22nd, T20 January 23rd, T20 January 26th to 29th, Test match February 3rd, ODI February 5th, ODI February 7th, ODI TV coverage BT Sport.